Do Telly time. Right, Lee, Mackie, do Telly. Look, hi Parasite. There's not many there for him. Hello, Kris here, Green Sabre, Doom Telly Time, episode 76, and it's a Damnation Festival special. My now annual. This will be the third one that I've done of my Damnation reviews, and they're equally cretinous in their own fucking way. But before we begin, updates. There are no band updates from last week, so I won't bother with any of them. So yeah, all plugging away behind the scenes. Further update. For any of you avid subscribers and watchers, you'll know that there's been a competition of mine for my 200 subs running in the background. That was supposed to have finished about a week ago, but it's still running because I've not got my fucking shit into gear and finished it. So let's do it for next week's video, shall we? So you've still got, if you want, you've still got another week to get your videos in for my competition entry. I'll put a link to it probably down below, just to remind you all. I've not done bad. I've had a few entries, so yeah. But for any of you that have missed out so far, that want to get in on this highly lucrative competition that I'm fucking running, then yeah, feel free. You've got another week. Next week's video will be, so you've got till Sunday, whenever. Just fucking fire it in. And I'll do it for next week's video. The competition winner, the lucky winner. Right, fucking enough of that. A minute and a half, and I've got a lot to go through. So, Damnation Festival 2024. My now annual pilgrimage. This is the 4th year in a row now that I've been, and my 5th Damnation in total, which I know is shite compared to a lot of you. Most of you have done fucking 19 at this stage or whatever it is, and of course next year is going to be the 20th anniversary of Damnation. Me, Lee, Aki, shout out Lee and Aki from CROWSBLOOD, my CROWSBLOOD brothers. We did our now annual march over to Manchester, to the BEC. For the one day, I've not bothered with the Night of Salvation, mainly because for one day, Damnation's incredibly fucking cheap for what you get, like 80 quid or whatever it is for your ticket. For the day, depending when you do it. I'm probably going to blind buy again for next year. But 80 quid for day, it's great. I can ping over in car, ping back, same day, and I've not got any accommodation expenses. Next year for the 20th anniversary, it's going to be 2 days, which I'd rather it were just a day personally, guys, but that's just fucking me. And also because I'm broken by the end of the one day, I don't think I can do 2, because I'm an old bloke. But it's going to be 2 days next year. I'm hoping that's just a one-off. What makes this festival great for me is the fact that it's 1 day. I can't stand these festivals that now are almost a fucking week. Your Bloodstocks, your downloads, all the other ones. It's sort of like you've got to get there on the fucking Tuesday at a camp or whatever it is. It starts on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's relentless, and it does not need to be. And also costs as much as a fucking small house these days. So, yeah, that's just my little fucking gripe about next year being 2 days. But I might have to make a special effort. I'm going to have to get accommodation. So, anyway, what would normally be 80 quid, I imagine next year is going to be like fucking 400 or whatever it is. So, anyway, besides the by, we did our usual one day, and this year was no different for the 1 day. So, we didn't bother with the Night of Salvation. So, this will not cover the Night of Salvation. This is just the Saturday that I'm going to cover. So, yeah. Round to Leeds, first thing, Saturday morning, Aki got there, ploughed over down the M62, made good time, parked up right nearby, because that's another reason. If you get there in sort of decent time in the morning, you can park round corner front venue. There's plenty of spots. They fill up as the day goes on, but get there early, decent, which we did. Queued up for a bit. I think it was 11:15 when we went in, but anyway. My old, I was like, I don't need this. I'm going to be stood up for 12 hours. I can't stand in a queue for longer than absolutely necessary. But anyway, I'd have only been stood up inside, so fucking no bother. Right, enough of my fucking waffling. Let's crack on. Damnation 2024. Now this year I've made, the app's great, by the way, that you get they did an app this year and you can do like a little clash finder and stuff, and so I'd sort of pre-planned roughly where I was going to be. that didn't entirely work out this year, but it was all good. So yeah, in through the gate, got my little tag. You won't be able to see it there. The tags are always dead nice that you get, wrist tag. So, and in we went. It was first on, right. So, first band, I'd worked out that I saw not all in their entirety, but I saw 13, 14 bands this year, which is pretty good going for me, I have to say. And we started with Enforced. What have I written? High Energy. The Enforced are sort of like death, thrash metal-y, thrashy, deathy kind of stuff. And it was a great high energy start today. They were on the Holy Goat stage, I want to say. The one that was on your immediate left when you come into BEC. Great start today. Sound was a little muffled, but I tend to find it is on that stage. From where we saw Strigoi in there last year, and their sound was a little muffled in that room. It's a weird room for sound as such as that. But yeah, that was a great high energy start today. So once they finished, we went into the main stage area and caught a little bit of AA Williams. It was really, really good. I didn't know much about her going into this as such, but yeah, I think I'm going to like her stuff. So I've downloaded a bit since, and really nice, great melodies, good atmosphere. The only thing I would say was sort of like the atmosphere that she created, I think would have worked better later on in the day, but unfortunately, lineup is a lineup and stuff like that. But yeah, she was. We only caught like 2 or 3 songs as such, but then moved through to the ISO merch tent to go and see High Parasite, who us CROWSBLOOD boys know a couple of the band over at High Parasite, and solid performance from them. And they were they weren't the opening band on the ISO merch day. Anyway, whatever they were. So yeah, solid performance, and they look like they've been on tour with Cradle of Filth, and did their launch gig at Night Train that I couldn't get to, sadly. I was otherwise detained, but looked like they're finding the sound, finding the live performance, and yeah, good solid set. Again, sound was quite muddy in there, I thought, but I don't know whether that was just where we were stood in there, but decent enough from the High Parasite boys. At that point, I think we had our first break of the day. It got up to like 2 p.m, so yeah, sort of outside, got something to eat. Food stalls, plenty of them, lots of choice. I usually go for, like I said, there was like Thai and tacos and all sorts of great stuff that I really fancied. And invariably, I end up getting like a greasy double cheeseburger and chips, which is what I went with again. It's easier. Tacos and all that are fine, but I end up throwing it down myself. So, something easier to eat. So yeah, got some bites as such. And then, who was next? Oh, Resin. We went to see Resin on, was that the ISO? Yeah, they were on the ISO stage. I'm a big fan of Resin. Really enjoyed the album this year. It'll be in my albums of the year as such. And yeah, great solid performance. Heavy as hell, really sort of nice, trippy backdrop throughout their performance. And yeah, I like what they do. I thought they were great, and they created a good atmosphere. So I was glad I got to see them. So yeah, so far so good, really. And so far as well, I think I'd seen all the bands that I planned on seeing as such. Now after Resin, where did we go? Gatecreeper on the main stage. I like Gatecreeper. This year's album is decent, but I know this sounds horrendous, but I find that there's just a little bit of deathcore vibe creeping into it. They are not a deathcore band, let's get that out there, but just a little bit of deathcore vibe in the sort of vocal approach, I think. But anyway, I'm picking. They were tremendous, and for main stage as such, decent sized crowd for them, and they really commanded that stage and captured the atmos perfectly. Slugging away, solid heavy performance. I was dead impressed with Gatekeeper. To that point, they were the best band I'd seen on the day. I thought that was the most solid set I'd seen up to that point. Like I say, Enforced opened brilliantly. A.A. Williams are what I saw were decent. High Parasite, solid. And Resin were great, but then Gatecreeper just sort of took it up to that next level, so I was dead impressed with them. From what I can gather, let me just get my bearings. Yeah, that was around, where is it, Gatecreeper? They were about 3 o'clock, something like that. We were straight over to the Holy Goat stage to see 200 Stab Wounds, who up the ante once more. They were terrific, heavy as hell, sort of straight up death metal, brilliant, great performance. Dripping in atmosphere in there. I have to sort of think it's easier to capture, obviously, over the main stage, but it's easier to capture the atmosphere I felt in the Holy Goat and the Isomer. It's just because they're a little tighter, ultimately, as such. But yeah, 200 Stab Wounds captured the atmos perfectly. Great set, heavy set, and also a particular fan of the guitarist that was over our side of the stage, who, like, wild hair, and yeah, absolutely loving it. I was dead impressed with them. So as I was saying, Gatecreeper had been my set of the day up to that point. 200 Stab Wounds very quickly then became my set of the day up to that point. They were terrific. I was dead impressed with them. And a band that I wasn't sure, I forget who they clashed with. I wasn't sure if I was going to see them or whoever else it was. Was it Black Tusk that were on at the same time as them? Like, I think originally I'd made plans to go and see them. And anyway, I'm glad I made the choice that I did, let's put it that way. And that's the beauty of Damnation for me, is I think invariably, yeah, plan your day out perfectly, but I think it's good to just sort of go with the flow sometimes and just go with what you feel like. And yeah, I thought they were terrific. And yeah, if I'd stuck rigidly to my plan, I wouldn't have seen 200 Stab Wounds. So yeah, I'm glad that I went to see them. Next break ensued, and at that point, sort of like around tea time, I were flagging, quite frankly. Yeah, it is a long day. There were no seating inside the arena either. Now, I know I'd seen some on maps, and I know that there were lots of people on the forum. Cracks me up sometimes, especially on the lead-in to the event, like on the day of or the morning of or the day before, because there's just tons of people copying Gavin in various gripes and woes that they've discovered, like the security are evil. Why does no one care about me? Why haven't you done, like, Gavin's really fucking busy, I imagine, on the day of the festival. So copying him, you know, hello, commercial break there, sorry, posty with the delivery. So see, I imagine I've just done a bit of seamless editing. Also, I keep noticing as well that this sort of, my lad wanted me to get one of his Halloween tattoos. So that if you keep sort of thinking, what's that on his fucking arm? It's my new Frankenstein tattoo. Dead proud of it. Awesome. Best one yet. Right. Anyway, where was I before I was rudely interrupted by the postman? I was probably whining about something. Yes, I was whining about something. Yeah, people fucking annoying Gavin on the forum. Anyway, yeah, just very quickly to sort of say, I know that you might have gripes and foibles, and that's the place to air it, but what part of you thinks that tagging in the guy that is organising the festival on the day of it thinks that that's particularly sound? I just think it's cheeky as fuck. Stop doing it. Anyway, yeah, so leave the man be. He's got stuff to do. So yeah, we had a little break at that point, and the point that I very, very roundabout was getting to was that no chairs. I mean, you cannot cater for seating for the whole thing. That is absolutely understandable, but there's sort of no chairs inside. I can only think because it was busier and that they wanted to keep thoroughfares, you know, you've got to adhere to health and safety standards and all that, but certainly near the bars, I can't see why they couldn't have put a few there. I mean, they all get taken by the same people that just sit there for the full 10 to 12 hours, but yeah, no seating inside. So I was flagging at that point, but I'd worn sensible shoes and you know, dressed accordingly for the day, because like I said, I'm 49 now, and it is a long day. It's a long day, and to be honest, the Sunday, the day after, yesterday, as you're watching this, I was absolutely ruined, just ruined. Legs didn't work, back twitchy as fuck, and but it's all good. I wouldn't change it for the world. Aki, though, our drummer, had found this little sort of collapsible fold-up stool thing that he bought off Amazon for about a tenner. Brought that in his rucksack. honestly. He had the last laugh. Coziness, whenever he wanted, just pop it out, sit down. Yeah, the joke was very much on me and Lee at that point. So yeah, hats off, Aki. Good thinking. Might do that for next year, especially if it's 2 days. I'll need it. So yeah, that was the 5 o'clock break. In between whiles, we caught a tiny little bit of, let me get the pronunciation right, Ne obliviscus, Ne obliviscaris. Is that how it's pronounced? Anyway, Aki fancied seeing them, and I think we caught about 2 songs. If you're milling around near the back of the main stage area, the sound's dead muddy. It's difficult to, especially, and I don't really know that band, so it was difficult for me to pick out much from their bits, but it seemed very technical. I'm sure there was a headless guitar in there somewhere as well at some point, which is the sign of a technical band. But anyway, yeah, so I've not counted them as one of the bands I saw, because it was literally like 2 songs whilst I was hanging around the I Saw merch stand, and Cult Never Dies and that kind of thing. So after that, who was it? Hangman's Chair. I want to say they're a French band. It's not of any importance, but yeah, their album last year, Alona, it's called. I thought it was a cracking album. So I was quite looking forward to seeing these. And I saw half, maybe 2/3 of the set, and it were great. Heavy as hell, great melodies. And yeah, everyone on point. Yeah, that was a properly heavy set from them. And like I say, really doomy. Elements of shoegaze, I would say at times with the melodies and stuff. But yeah, I absolutely loved it. I was glad that I saw them. What note did I say? Little bit of onstage dancing and posturing that I wasn't a fan of. But honestly, I mean, that's no gripe as such. I like my metal to be performed in a very rigid manner. But yeah, it was that was the only thing sort of like, is he dancing at some point? I mean, it's great melodies. Maybe it did make him want to dance, but that knocked a point off for me. But no, honestly, I'm joking. They were terrific. Like I say, about 2/3 of that set, and then we moved through to the Holy Goat stage and caught a tiny little bit of Fuming Mouth. Don't know anything about that band, and the little bit that I saw wasn't enough to make me want to hang around, so we kind of dived off and got ourselves ready for Nails. Were coming on the main stage at that point. Now, I know a lot of people were like super excited about Nails on at this year's Damnation. And I remember, I definitely made a point of thinking I need to go and see them. But they're a band that I don't mind. Forget the name of the song that they opened with. What's it called? Like You Are Not One of Us, or whatever the song's called. It's the album's the same title. I don't mind that album. And the other one from 2010, is it? I really liked at the time. It's a kind of like grindcore-esque, but it's not grindcore. It's more of a sort of like a hardcore punk smash in the face fucking vibe. Meets death metal. And they're very, very good at what they do. I thought they were great what I saw. We only hung around for maybe, I was going to say 4 or 5 songs, but they're not long, their songs, so it was probably nearer 10 to 15 songs that we saw as such. But yeah, they were decent. They weren't my band of the day. I imagine there were a lot of other people's bands of the day, and they must have done well in merch, because there were Nail shirts all over the place in that venue. But I thought they were decent. But that is where they were decent. But there were better bands that were on for me as such. But yeah, decent shout on main stage. But I will say that room was rammed when they were on. Yeah, you got a full gauge of the attendance when Nails played. Yeah, it was packed. Who did we go next? Oh, back to Holy Goat stage for Memoriam. I've heard a lot of people describe Memoriam as a bit of a watered down bolt thrower, and that's unfair but fair at the same time. They're very, very bolt thrower-esque, but not as good. Nowhere near as good. I mean, there aren't many bands that are as good as Bolt Thrower were in their heyday, quite frankly. But it's still Carl Willits as such, and honestly, what a front man he is. He commanded that stage, and for that, Memoriam were fantastic. I mean, Total War, is it the song? Was a cracker, heavy as hell. We got to see Carl shirt off, which was, a very privileged moment for us all. And yeah, they were terrific, cracking set, really heavy. And I loved it, straight up death metal. And Oatway, Carl Willits singing on it, is good enough in my book. So yeah, I was dead impressed with Memoriam. Another great one. And I realised at that point that what I thought was going to be more of a doomy, post-metal-y, sludgy affair that I'd pre-planned in the day was going to be anything but. It was predominantly death metal, and it was great. I mean, it was a very death metal heavy lineup this year, was Damnation, I would say. But hats off for it, because it was just a great venue. I'm saying to a friend that I bumped into there that we both kind of said, on paper, leading into Damnation this year, it just felt like the lineup wasn't as strong as it has been previously. Which, I mean, isn't difficult, because that's what makes Damnation great. The lineup is just stellar almost every year. There are very few festivals where I could circle 8 to 10 bands on it that I'm like, I have to see them, I have to see them, I have to see them. You look at when they announced Damnation, and I look at that, sorry, I'm talking about Damnation. Download, when they announced Download, and you look at that and I think there's probably 3 bands that I'd go out of my way to see, really, at that. I look at Bloodstock, and Bloodstock's miles better than Download, but I look at that and I sometimes think maybe there's 5 or 6 bands dotted over the whole weekend that I'll go and see. Damnation, it's just, oh God, it's just endless, and it's great for it. The only one that comes close, I would say, is maybe Fortress, that I've not been to yet, and I'm maybe hoping to get to at least a day for at least anyway next year, because Aklis are playing, and I have to see Aklis live. I have to. Anyway, different festival. Let's keep on with this. Short of time enough. So yeah, it turned into more of a death metal day, and I loved it for it. Now, after Memoriam, I think was our last break of the day, we went and sat outside near one at Binns, and contemplated our lives, and the day that we'd had, and me and Lee definitely were struggling at that point. Aki's the nipper of the band, so not only did he have his fold-away stool, but he had youth and exuberance on his side as well. Not me and Lee, we're old blokes, and we were very miserable at that point. But so we thought we needed to take 5 at that point, because after this last break, it was full on for the rest of the day. And who was it first? Break. Ruins of Beverast. Now, it was a toss-up between seeing the Ruins of Beverast and Inter Armour at this point, because I didn't know a massive amount about either. I knew more about Ruins of Beverast. And I'll be honest, what I'd heard of the little bits and pieces had made me think they're quite good, but not enough to make me think I need to go and see them live. Anyway, it was Ruins of Beverast that we picked. And my God, am I thankful that we made that choice. Nothing against Inter Armour, of course, but Ruins, for me, were one of the bands of the day. I suppose, if you don't know much about them, and I didn't massively going into it, but the best way to describe them is kind of atmospheric, blackened doom metal, really, at times, I would say, is the best description. Live, my God, does that work. And in that Holy Goat room, the lighting was dim, there were sort of lots of smoke, backlit. It was absolutely atmosphere fest in that room, and it was really, really great. They were so heavy, blasting black metal sections with oppressively heavy doomy sections in it, and they were mesmerising. I was really, really taken with Ruins of Beverast's set, to the point where they were the 3rd best set of the day for me. Just magnificent, absolutely sold on them, and I've pretty much downloaded everything from getting home after seeing them. But yeah, I was really taken by them. I thought, and one of the surprises of the day, after Ruins, through to the main stage, for the band that I was most looking forward to going into it, to see Russian Circles on the main stage. This will be, I felt like it was the 3rd time that I'd seen Russian Circles, but I've only ever seen them once before, and the first time I'd ever seen them, and the first time they came on my radar. They supported, I've mentioned this in a previous video, but they supported Mastodon on the Once More Around the Sun tour. That was my first experience of Russian Circles, and I've been hooked ever since. Well, they delivered in spades again, yes, Damnation on Saturday. Cracking set, opened with 309, the one that Harper, whatever, the name of someone, the song went into it. It was crushingly heavy, and it works so well in that kind of setup. They were magnificent Russian Circles, and joint set of the day for me. I mean, they didn't play Deficit, which is my favourite song of theirs off of the Memorial album. In fact, they didn't play anything off of Memorial. I don't think they've played anything off of Memorial on their tour that they're currently on. So, obviously, this was a stripped-down performance for them. But what was the other? Oh, Conduit they played off of the recent album, Gnosis. And that was just blistering. A magnificent set. I was really taken with it. And we stopped for almost all of their set, but nipped off about 5 minutes from the end to make sure that we were in situ for the second joint set of the day for me. And the one that I had not intended in going to see initially. I was going to watch Ahab. I was gutted when Ahab pulled last year. I mean, we got Bosk as a replacement, so, you know, every cloud. But I was gutted when I found out on the day of that Ahab had to pull out for illness or something. Anyway, they were lined up to play this year, so they were the first band that I circled, like, right, Ahab, definitely. And I didn't get to see them. I didn't go to see them because my friend Beardy Red, shout out Beardy Red, I bumped into him a few times over the day, and he'd said, you should go and see Dragged, really. Mainly because, how did he put it? He says, Dragged is the kind of set for the ages. You're not going to see this again. Ahab will more than likely play again at some point. And he's right. And I thought, do you know, the lad's not wrong. So I made that decision then on the date. I thought, right, I'm going to go and watch Dragged into Sunlight. And holy shit. There aren't many words I can say for, I mean, it was packed in there in the Holy Goat stage. So I'm glad that we got in when we did. But I mean, if you've not seen Dragged into Sunlight, I can only recommend that you do if you get a chance to again. I mean, this is the first time that they've played in years. And my God, just the atmosphere was so oppressive in there. I mean, they stand with the backs to the crowd. Something that I've been a bit funny about often. It's like, you know, just people paid to come and see you. You can't, otherwise just put the CD on. But no, because this was so much heavier than the album. And they played the album in full, and it's just magnificent. Big sort of, what do you call it? Loads of candles in it. Right at the front of the stage, candles burning, TVs on either side, with like imagery going throughout, thick with smoke, backlit. It was magnificent. Like, again, oppressive is the word. It was uncomfortable in there, sonically and literally, in a sense. They were absolutely magnificent. And although I was gutted to miss Ahab, and that was the clash going into the day that I knew was going to be problematic, because I'm like, oh, I really fancied seeing Dragged into Sunlight, but I've got to go and see Ahab. And then on the day, I think, no, do you know what? I'm going to watch Dragged into Sunlight instead. Ahab will have to go by the wayside. And I'm gutted that I missed Ahab, but so happy that I caught Dragged into Sunlight give what was just an otherworldly performance. I mean, honestly, knockout. I mean, the way I'm describing it, I put them as joint best performance for Russian Circles. They might have just edged it. I mean, we didn't quite finish the set. It was so oppressive that I think we left a couple of minutes before the end of it. Thought, let's get out of here before everyone starts piling out. But yeah, probably set of the day for me. Just magnificent, and I'm so glad that I saw it. At that point, me and Lee had been clinically dead for about 35 minutes. Aki was beginning to flag as well. We knew that we still had to drive back to Leeds to do. And there was one band left, Cradle of Filth. Now, Cradle of Filth, I won't say I was disappointed when I heard they were headlining, because that's nonsense. The last time I saw Cradle of Filth was years ago, and the only other time that I've seen Cradle of Filth, it was either pre-Principle of Evil Made Flesh or around that time, and I saw him in Bradford. I want to say Rio's, but it could have been Queen's Hall. My memory is sketchy of it. And yeah, it was way back when. They were great, and you could sort of tell that they were going to go on to great things. They were Corpse Paint at that point as well, so it must have been really close to Principle. 93, 94, anyway, somewhere around then was the only previous time I'd seen Cradle of Filth. So I was looking forward to seeing him from a purely nostalgia perspective, but to be honest, after Midian, they sort of lost me as a band, really. I mean, after Vampire, they sort of lost me as a band. I love Principle of Evil Made Flesh. It's one of my favourite albums of all time. I just think it's magnificent. Vampire was pretty good as well, like a continuation of it. And it got a little more symphonic and larger than life after that, I was saying. They just sort of lost me, really, to a point. Anyway, in a roundabout way, I almost said, now we only stopped for about 5 songs before we thought, let's beat the traffic, let's head off. But those 5 songs that we saw, I'd seen what I wanted to. We'd already had a couple of tracks off of Principle of Evil Made Flesh. Great opening. How Danny does those screams, they're otherworldly, and I have nothing but respect for his vocal style. And he's a proper showman, and they are as a band. They are a real visual experience as much as sonic experience. Magnificent. And they were worthy headliners, and they were great. The bit that I saw, and I think there was only, is it Forest Whispers was the only one off a Principle that I missed, because we'd just gone at that point. But a worthy end to a cracking day. So yeah, that's ultimately my review of Damnation 2024. Another brilliant experience. Bumped into loads of cool people. Wendy, Dave, great to see you two again. Bumped into them just after High Parasite had finished, actually. My mate Matt from iSaw Merch. Matt is always on the iSaw Merch stand there, so you will have all seen him at some point. But me and Matt go way back. When I did my first Dan kickboxing, he graded around the same time. He wasn't at the same black belt grading as me, but he was the one directly after it as such. So we kind of grew up as kickboxing buddies, and I remember in his grading him beating the shit out of me, basically. Good, but great lad, and I love catching up because he lives, he's moved away from area, so I only really see him now at Damnation, so it's another reason for me to go, so it gives me a chance to catch up with Matt. So it was great to see you, Matt, shout out. I've mentioned Dave and Wendy. Beardy Red Viking, bumped into him a few times, and as I've said before, Beardy Red, shout out, because it was you that convinced me to go and watch Dragged into Sunlight. And thank you for that, because I had just a brilliant experience. Always good to catch up. And your mate, whose name escapes me, I'm very sorry. Anyway, nice to see you again, mate. Second time I've met him. Who else did I bump into? Fuck. I have made notes, but I think... Jack. Jack from Pallid Mask, from Over Leeds Way. Shout out, Jack. Good to bump into you and your mate. A couple of mates. So my mate Dave from Morecambe was there. I promised to meet up, but I didn't see... We must have been in the same bit looking at bands at some point, but I don't remember seeing you at any point over the weekend, so sorry. We must try harder next time. I was going to say, let's stay active on phones, but the phone reception and Wi-Fi in that place is fucking non-existent, so that's easier said than done. Kendo from, shout out Ken from Macho Records. He was there. I feel like I saw you in the distance during the Ruins of Beveras set, but gone, so I didn't meet up, which I was sad. I was looking forward to meeting up with you, Ken, but Dead of Winter Festival, we'll have to do it then in January. So that's it, right? I'm exhausted from Damnation, as I usually am. I'm exhausted from doing this video, but that is my review of 2024. There likely will be a review of 2025, but I can't say, I would prefer it to be a day, but it's 20th anniversary. Gavin is entitled to push the ball out on this one, so, and I can't wait for it. Blind Bird tickets will be coming soon, and I will no doubt sign up for them. But until then, thank you for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for subscribing. Any new viewers, like and subscribe. It's all about the numbers. I'm not bothered, honest. But please like and subscribe. Although you might have thought this video was shite. But don't give me a dislike. There's no need for that, kids. But anyway, thanks for watching. Like I say, next week's video will likely be my competition clacks, and the winner will be drawn next week because I was supposed to do that last weekend, so I'm already running 2 weeks over. I'll do it next week, promise. Yeah, until then, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time, guys. Toodle pip. Additional content clacks, and I completely forgot to mention James and Jess that we bumped into there as well, generally over by the vinyl stall at Cult Never Dies. Shout out to you two. But the other bit that I forgot from the video was that I was supposed to mention during Russian Circles. During their set, there was some gargantuan fucking bellend influencers or TikTokers, whatever the fuck they were, going through with a light, like a circle light thing, making some fucking content or video or something. This light that was brighter than 1,000 suns, like coming through the Russian Circles thing, pissing everybody off, full of their own self-importance. What the fuck was all that about? Does anyone know what it was? I was supposed to ask that. But, yeah, bizarre. So, yeah, the reason for my additional bit of video is to mention James and Jess for a start off. And that, the fuck was going on? Anyway, it annoyed me. And as an old man, I'm easily annoyed.